We're going to do a quick little mechanic video today. I'm working on the 2955, our primary farm tractor. It's been cranking slow, but these tractors are notorious for loading the pump up and cranking real slow because the starter's trying to turn the engine along with the loaded up hydraulic pump at the same time. I've already went back and put new battery cables on it with all new heavy duty ends and crimped that all up to make sure it's getting good contact. We're going to try and put one of the there's a little valve you can hook up on the pump, so when you go and hit the start function on the key switch, it actually lets the pressure bleed off the pump and helps the tractor crank easier. But right now we're still just trying to crutch it along until I can figure out where all the leaks are on the internal side. It's loading that pump up, and we're going to put a high torque starter on it today. I've not opened it up yet. eBay special. I know a lot of people are against putting high torque starters on these tractors, busted nose cones and yada yada, and it's just patching the problem, but that's what we're doing. It is what it is. We're going to start the tractor up, let you hear how it cranks, and we'll do it for my reference too, and then we're going to put the starter on it, then see how it cranks afterwards. Cranked right there. It'll crank real slow until I start turning the wheel back and forth, which is a common farmer fix, we'll say, because everybody's figured out that when you move that wheel back and forth, it bleeds off some of the pump pressure on these things. If you hear it crank real slow, that's me not turning the steering wheel back and forth, and then when you hear it start picking back up on the starter, that's me running that steering wheel back and forth to try and bleed some of that pump pressure off. So we're going to go ahead and get this old starter removed, and we're going to do the same test, starting it with the new starter without turning the wheel, and then starting it with the new starter turning the wheel. And it's actually starting pretty easy today because I keep a trickle charger on it right here on this side and keep the batteries topped off all the time, and the block heater has been plugged in here this week because I actually came down to get it one day this week when I was loading up a beef to take off to the market, and could not get the tractor wouldn't start because it's too cold. It hadn't been plugged up. We'll get started taking this starter off. This is our gear reduction starter. I think this came from AJ Electrical on eBay. It's essentially the same nose cone with a gear reduction drive motor on it. I bought one of these last year that was a gear reduction starter. It was designed a little bit different from DB Electrical, I think. Had it advertised for $29.55, and it probably would have worked for a $29.55, but the problem on our tractor is where we have a loader on it, it will not clear the loader frame down here on the side, and it wouldn't fit. And I don't think even with the loader frame that it would have mattered. I still don't think that starter would have fit. But this one came from AJ Electrical. I posted up on one of the forums on Facebook, on one of the John Deere forums, and one of the guys, I was asking for folks that actually put this starter on this tractor, and one guy responded back, so we purchased it, and we're going to try and stick this on here and see if she'll work. Alright, we got the old starter off. Take my boggin off, my hair's a mess. You can see the difference in the bodies here. Full size straight drive starter versus the smaller body with the gear offset for this gear drive starter. These things have the bolts on these starters are bare to get off. You can take a tenth of a turn at a time unless you've got a decent ratchet wrench. It won't bind up. I'm going to get this one out of the way and get this other one bolted up. The body housing on this one's made a little bit different. The factory starter's hard to get off. This one's almost impossible to get on. Alright, the starter's on. It was a bear to get these two bolts in because this casting, of course these are China knockoff starters, that casting is heavier than the original. But on the original starter, the the key hot, the activation wire for the solenoid was on this side on the old starter. You have to move it over to this side for the new starter. The solenoid is a little bit longer, so you gotta make sure you got a little bit of slack in your cable, and I barely did. We're going to put the camera back where it was a while ago and jump up here and listen to how it cranks and see what it does. I call that a success. The first 2 starts you heard, I was not turning the wheel. That little starter is powering right through the pump and starts up like the other starter does when it's warm, and you're steering the wheel back and forth. It spun really even a little bit faster there the last time I did it, and I actually started hitting the wheel, but it starts the tractor so fast now that you don't have time to turn the steering wheel. So we'll see how the longevity works on it, how reliable it is. Like I said, I got that off eBay. Bought it this week and it was $159.88. That was at the first of this week. That starter's already went up in price to $160. It's now $166.88. So it's already went up $7 or $8 at least, due to the wonderful inflation in our economy right now. I don't know if you can see that or not. It is on eBay. Says new starter fits John Deere tractor 2750, 2755, 2850, 2855, 2940, 2950, 2955, which is what we have, a 3050 and a 3040 for $166.88. Sold from AJ Electrical. Again, there's another starter out there that has a larger body. It's an offset body, but it's offset a different way, and it actually will interfere with the frame on the tractor. That was from DB Electrical. I looked the other day, DB Electrical is actually still advertising that same starter to work on the 2955, and I promise you that it will not, at least not on my 4-wheel drive with a loader. And actually I said it hit the loader frame a while ago. That's actually the main machine frame it is interfering with. But I appreciate you all coming along with me. We'll see how this starter holds up, and I'll see you next time.